Hi and welcome to COMX-TV. We're your weekly guide on the comic book universe.
I'm Steve Przybyla.
And I'm Mike Rizzo.
Each and every week we bring you the newest and hottest up-to-date comics out there in the market.
So stay tuned as we got a bunch of good stuff for you today, including an interview with
Jason Armstrong.
And we've got a segment on comic book toys. So stay tuned because we got a great show for you today. Topping this week's comics news, Skybox has released the 90-card trading card set based on DC Comics' powerful character Superman. The new set, called the Man of Steel Platinum Series trading cards, leapt into stores on October 26th. This marks the first time a card series has captured the entire life of Superman. There are two different versions of these Skybox cards intended for different collectors. The premium edition was conceived for the hardcore collectors, with silver foil-stamped borders and embossing on the cards. The collector's edition was an afterthought to appeal to the younger collectors. This card set will have the same artwork, minus the embossing and the silver foil stamp. These cards are oversized, measuring 2.5 inches by 4.5 inches. The premium card set retails for $3.99, and the collector's card set retails for $1.19. Both are packs of 6 cards. The only problem we see is that the hardcore fans will feel they have to collect both sets, so DC and Skybox are only fooling themselves if they think otherwise.
Beginning in December, Valiant Comics will reprint stories written from the original Solar Man of the Atom, Turok Son of Stone, and Magnus Robot Fighter, which first appeared in Gold Key Comics back in the 1960s. While the reprints will feature all original artwork, Valiant is providing all new covers drawn by some of the most talented artists in the business. The reprints will also be fully recolored, giving these classics a whole new look. In January, Turok returns for a second Western print issue. Also in January, Valiant is featuring a 2-volume reprint of Captain Johnner and the Aliens, stories which originally appeared in the first 28 issues of Magnus. This is the first time that the Aliens, featuring Russ Manning artwork, have gotten their own solo vehicle.
Malibu Comics has announced a 75%-25 split for the front cover of Ultra Force #2. This series, part of Malibu's Ultraverse, is written by Gerard Jones and illustrated by George Perez and Alvey. Ultraverse is a team book of Ultraverse title characters, including Prime, Prototype, and Hardcase. What exactly is a 75-25 split? Well, the cover of issue #2 features Prime walking away from his teammates on a white background. 75% of the books printed will feature this cover. The other 25% will feature Prime alone. This issue will also have a seal denoting its limited edition status. Both covers are by George Perez. The story in this issue revolves around Prime leaving the group and possibly not coming back. Scheduled to ship on November 1st, check your store to see if you can get a copy of that rare book that may be worth hundreds of dollars someday.
Lastly this week, Marvel Entertainment Group, in conjunction with Global Telecommunications Solutions, is introducing a unique Halloween series of prepaid phone cards featuring custom-designed artwork and a special audio tale. The Halloween 4-card set features several Marvel comic images: Morbius by Mike Mignola, Spider-Man Hobgoblin Green, Goblin by Mike Allred, Nightmare Doctor Strange by Mark Buckingham, and Ghost Rider by Malcolm Jones III. Only 5,000 sets of these original artwork will be produced, each containing 10 units of phone time along with a 2-minute Halloween tale from each of the Marvel superheroes. The Marvel Halloween cards, sold as a 4-card set for $40, will be available by calling Logophon at 1-800-280-1166. Yes, that's 1-800-280-1166, or through Marvel comic books and specialty stores. Marvel plans on producing more holiday-related cards, with Christmas being the next. I can think of many better things and much more that $40 can be used better spent around Christmas. And that's it for the news on Comics TV.
Hi there, topping today's independent comic book reviews. I'm starting off with the big book of Urban Legends. This is issue number 1 from Paradox Press. This is a DC Comics imprint, adapted by Robert Loren Fleming and Robert F. Boyd Jr. The artists and inkers in this book include a who's who of comics, including Kevin McGuire, Fred Hembeck, Trina Robbins, and dozens of others. This 224-page album-sized trade paperback is scheduled to come out November 1st, so it should be out already. There are 200 urban legends in this book, such as the mouse in the Coke bottle, the Kentucky Fried Rat, and the Avon Flasher. These are the kinds of stories that you hear from friends. Like somebody said, hey, did you hear the one about that kind of stuff? Paradox Press is DC's newest entry into the comic book market with these books. They will be printing unorthodox size and selling in bookstores and in addition to the regular comic shops. This looks like a great collection, and I'd be sure to take a look for this one. Next, I've got Creature Features. It's a trade paperback from Mojo Press. Various artists and writers, including Joe R. Lansdale, $6.95. Creature Features is an anthology of similar related stories of monsters and such. I enjoyed the Grease Trap by Joe R. Lansdale. The other stories are good quality, with the Grease Trap playing out like a Creepshow story. There's great stories and art make this an enjoyable book to read, although a bit expensive at $6.95 for a black and white book. I think the stories are worth the cost, and it's something that if you have a couple extra bucks, I'd pick this one up. Next, we have the Frankenstein movie adaptation, The Ashcan from the San Diego Comic Convention. It's from Topps Comics, written by Roy Thomas, and the art is by Raphael Kayanen and Rick Magyar. This is the official book adaptation of the new movie by Francis Ford Coppola, or Coppola, depending on how you say it. This should be out by now. The movie is out, or coming out still, and it's a very, very good artwork in this book. The story is based on the movie, and the story and art are very, very good. It's even in this black and white form here. I think the people that would like this are basically Frankenstein fans, maybe people that collect movie adaptions, because I don't know if anybody else would like this. If you like Frankenstein, it's definitely a book to pick up. And the art is very good. I like the story too, so the movie's probably pretty good. And next we've got Nog is Back. Yes, Nog, N-O-G. It's number 1 from Onley Studios. Written, edited, art, everything by Turtle Onley. $2. Story of Nog, who is guardian of Nuba, a society of perfection. This is a black and white book about the black race, as Onley is a black man. He tries to convey good in his stories. He tries to make it look like there's good in the black man, so they don't have to kill each other all the time. Basically, that's the basic premise I see behind the whole book. The artwork is okay. It's not up to any major company standards, but he can convey emotions and movement well enough. I do not like the word boxes used in place of word balloons. You can't tell who's talking because there's no arrows or lines pointing to who's saying what. In addition, he uses quite a few full and half-page spreads, which cut down on the actual length of the story. Backup story has decent art, but that's it. Overall, I'm not sure who would like this. Would black comic readers? Maybe. Would superhero readers? Probably not. It's black and white. It's not that good. I'm giving him a B for effort, but I can't recommend picking this one up. Next, Lady Death. First Lady Death series trade paperback. This is from Chaos Comics, written by Brian Pulido, and the art is by Stephen Hughes. It's $6.95. It's pricey, but this is Evil Ernie's lover in the collected miniseries, the first 3 issues. Full detail on her life from the beginning as a princess up to the Princess of Dark that she is. It's a good story with plenty of details, blood, guts, Lady Death in her bikini. You get it all. It's an excellent book if you like this type of story, good versus evil, Satan, killing, blood, all of that. There's a definite, this is definitely one to pick up. That's what I was going to say. If you missed the miniseries, this is it here. In February, a new Lady Death series will be beginning with a full chromium wraparound cover. So check this book out. Stay tuned for February. And lastly, I've got Our Cancer Year. It's a graphic novel from 4 Walls, 8 Windows by Harvey Pecker and Joyce Brabner with art by Frank Stack. $17.95. This is a huge book. Steve said, this is a book. This isn't a comic book. This is a book. And that's exactly what it is. This is the story of Harvey Pecker. He's the writer of the comic book American Splendor. It's an autobiographical comic that he puts out occasionally. And his wife, political activist Joyce Brabner. This is their exploits up and through the Gulf War. And this all leads into Harvey Pecker finding out he has cancer. How he deals with it. What happens to the two of them. Hallucinations. Everything that you can think of that happens with cancer. If you don't know what happens with cancer, this book will tell you. It shows you. It's tough. You don't know what it's like, and this book shows you all of it. It's not just words. This gives you more than a regular book would give you, because you can see what happens, and they don't have to describe everything in detail because it's all right here. It's worth every penny, and Frank Stack's artwork is interesting. He's got a sketchy kind of artwork, but he conveys everything that he wants to. It's a black and white book. Like I said, it's $17.95. It's pricey, but it's worth every penny. That's it for the Independence this week. For the next segment, we're going to go through some of the new Marvel toys from Toy Biz Incorporated. We're going to start off with the X-Men figures. In a world where superheroes succumb quickly to the lethal jaws of the changing times, the X-Men have been a favorite for more than 3 decades. The #1 selling Marvel Comics team of Mighty Mutants have a hit animated series on Fox TV and a leading line of action figures from Toy Biz Inc. With 28 original new action figures and over 15 million figures sold in 1993, this year's lineup is the greatest yet. Each of the 28 new 5-inch X-Men action figures feature their own specially dedicated character actions, weapons, and accessories, such as this Wolverine with changeable arms. Each one also includes a trading card. In addition, Storm will be re-released with a new paint scheme corresponding to the animated series. There's over 60 characters for ages 5 and up. Retail price is $5.99, but usually you can get these cheaper in the local stores. Next, today we have X-Men Pocket Comics. They look like a regular comic books, but open them up and a miniature 3D battle action playset is inside. Featuring comic book thrills in the palm of a hand, each of these 8 mini mutant environments features a popular Ultra Mini X-Men action figure versus one of the most dangerous enemies. All of the Pocket Comics are approximately 4.5 by 3 inches and come fully loaded with firing weapons, a magnetic levitation field, a launchable Blackbird jet, and include 2 articulated 1.25 or 1.4 inch X-Men figures. They all twist at the waist. In addition, each playset features authentically reproduced comic art on the cover and includes a collectible trading card in a handy storage bay. Collect them all and they can be locked together to form the ultimate X-Universe environment. They all do different things. Suggested retail price is $9.99. As we take a look here, load up Juggernaut, let him go, and crash. He's supposed to fly through. Ugh. But that's what you can do with this. Next in the Toy Biz Marvel Comic X-Men line, we have the Steel Mutants. It's a line of die-cast collectible action figures approximately 3 inches high that are the first ever to be posable in that size. Sold in pairs, each of the 8 new sets feature one of the heroic X-Men versus his arch nemesis from the X-Force for the ultimate in heavy-duty action. These superhuman mutants square off in a battle of iron wills as the fate of the world lies in the clinches. With fight-to-finish action, Steel Mutants come forged forever in unique die-cast, complete with collector's display stand included on the package. The little thing you see behind them. Each pair of Steel Mutants are authentically detailed and feature posable action. The sets include Wolverine vs. Sabretooth, Spy Wolverine vs. Omega Red, Juggernaut vs. Cyclops, as you see here, Archangel vs. Apocalypse, Strife vs. Cable, Magneto vs. Professor X, Bishop vs. Gambit, and Cyclops vs. Mr. Sinister. For ages 5 and up, suggested retail is $4.99. Also available is the Spider-Man Web of Steel die-cast figures. So take a look. Some nice things coming from Toy Biz and X-Men. It's the ultimate clash of Marvel Comics' biggest and toughest superheroes and supervillains with fully posable deluxe edition 10-inch Spider-Man action figures, new from Toy Biz. Spider-Man's web will be wider than ever this fall as he will star in an all-new animated series on Fox TV. In addition, he'll soon turn into a Hollywood legend with his own big-budget live-action movie, which at this time is being fought out in the courts between 3 or 4 different movie-making companies. In this new Toy Biz line of deluxe edition fully posable action figures, Spider-Man is ready to weigh in against his most formidable adversaries. With his wall-gripping suction cup, Spider-Man defends himself in the neighborhood against the multi-armed Dr. Octopus, the jaws of the demented lizard, and the relentless pursuit of Venom and the Hobgoblin. Each of the new figures feature full posability and accessory. These include Spider-Man with web-hanging action, with wall-gripping suction cups, Dr. Octopus with multi-armed tentacles, Hobgoblin with pumpkin bomb, the lizard with lab coat, and Venom is just posable. The suggested retail price on these are $12.99. I've seen them, I believe, for $9.99. And this is just a smidgen of what Toy Biz has in Marvel toys for this year. Next and last on our toys today is scenes from the animated X-Men television series built right into a 7-inch action figure. Meet X-Men projectors from Toy Biz. The greatest X-Men characters, Wolverine, Apocalypse, Magneto, Sabretooth, and Cyclops, make up the team of 5 X-Men projectors. Each acts as a mini projector with a lens built right into his chest. Get mutant action anytime on any screen as they flash original images from their popular animated TV series right on the wall. Okay, basically you pop them open here, like that. You put in one of these discs, close them up, and you're set. You can change right here. You can change how the picture looks on the wall. Turn them around here. Change it. Battery goes right in here. And you can project these on the wall. They come with 3 different discs. Each of the projectors, these characters are also fully posable. You need 2 AAA batteries for this. And in addition, if you really like these a lot, more than anything in the whole world, you can buy more for $4.25. You can get 5 more projector discs and an official X-Men poster if you really want it that bad. And total retail price is $9.99 suggested. Also available, they have Spider-Man projectors. So these are pretty neat. Does his head move here? His head moves a little bit. So, I mean, these are pretty nice. These are action figures. Nice build on him there. And remember, these are not just for boys. Girls like comic books, girls like X-Men. So get yours now.
This week on Mainstream, I have a few books this week. A couple of them are good, a couple of them are bad. But this week, starting with Metropolis, SCU, Special Crimes Unit #1 from DC. Cindy Goff is the writer, Peter Krause is the artist, and Jose Marzan Jr. is the inker. Cost is $1.50. A new Metropolis Special Crimes Unit try to defeat an unnatural force with the help of Superman. But can they do it? Now, this story is very poor. The artwork is good, but there is nothing in this story. I found it very boring. It didn't hold my interest at all. Now, the big debate, can women draw superhero or write superhero stories? Here's an example. Cindy Goff did this, and I'll tell you what, I was very disappointed. This was a very boring book, something that maybe women think is interesting. It's very boring. The cost on this one was $1.50, and it was $1.50 too much. The only people that would buy this would be DC junkies, Superman collectors, because that's all it's worth. Do not even waste your money on this book. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. It's a #1. It might be worth money. I wouldn't count on it. This is one you'll find in the bargain bin in another 2 months for $1/4. For my second one, Night Watch #6 from Marvel. Terry Cavanaugh is the writer. Mark Tenney is the artist, and Richard Pruta is the inker. Cost is $1.50. The Silent Shadows try to capture Night Watch with the help of Venom. Can Venom and Night Watch defeat the Silent Shadows? Silent Shadows is another action team. Bad guys, of course, that all wear the same costumes. They all look alike, blah, 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 blah again. The story in this one was good, though. I was very surprised. The dialogue was good. It kept your interest up. There was a lot of action. The artwork was very, very good. Humor was poor because there was no humor. But here we go, another series that's bringing in another famous character, Venom, to try and boost the ratings on the book. Well, this one, I don't think you needed Venom to boost his ratings because it was well written, well drawn. I really like this one. People who'd pick this one up would be Night Watch fans, Venom fans, or, here we go again, Marvel junkies. For my third one, Punisher, issue number 97 from Marvel. Chuck Dixon is the writer. Rod Wigham is the artist, and Rudy Nebras is the inker. Cost is $1.50 again. The rogue Punishers are running wild in the streets, and the real Punisher is trying to reach Micro because Micro went underground to stay hidden from the mob, and now Punisher cannot find him to get all his toys back. Story in this one was good. The dialogue was good. The artwork, I'll tell you what, the artwork inside was good, but you gotta check out this cover. This cover is phenomenal. This one, honest to God, looks like Punisher is Satan himself coming up from the grave. It is phenomenal. The action level in this one was good. It starts right at the beginning where one of the imitated Punishers is on a subway train, and he's got to take care of international terrorists who are trying to hijack this train and blow it up, and he ends up da-da-da-da-da, typical Punisher story. But overall, the grade on this one is a good. I would definitely pick this one up, Punisher fans especially. For my last review this week, Hawkman, number 15 from DC Comics. Writer is William Messener-Lobes. Artist is Steve Lieber, and inker is Kurt Schultz. Cost $1.95. Hawkman faces off against the new Aquaman for the battle of his friend who he thinks is innocent for murdering little children. This is a classic battle between Hawkman and Aquaman. The story in this one was very good. It was well written. The dialogue, it kept you wanting to turn page after page. You couldn't wait to turn to the next page. Action level was phenomenal. Realism phenomenal. Color was great. Target audience, Hawkman fans, Aquaman fans, anybody who's trying out a new series, pick this one up. I never collected Hawkman. I really like this series. Anybody anybody should pick this book up, and that's it for my mainstream review this week. Hi, Steve from COMX-TV, and we're here in Toronto at Toronto's Comic Book Extravaganza. We're here with Jason Armstrong from DC Comics. And Jason, how are you doing today?
Doing good.
I got a couple questions to ask you. How did you get your start in the comic industry?
Well, I started sending samples into DC and Marvel, and I got a lot of response from DC and absolutely nothing from Marvel. And after waiting on tables for a year and a half, I quit my job and went to Manhattan and showed my portfolio around, and I got a job.
What type of comic-related training did you have to get going in the industry?
Well, I went to 3 years of illustration school, and after I realized it had absolutely nothing to do with illustration school, I just went back and just worked on a lot of anatomy and a lot of storytelling, and went to Manhattan.
Cool. What are you currently working on right now?
Right now, I'm working on the Robin Annual for '95. I just got the script yesterday, and I'm really excited.
Cool. Do you read any comics?
I read everything.
Everything. Any specific odd titles that's your favorite?
I really like a lot of what Steve Rude's doing with Nexus, and pretty much a lot of everybody. I like what Mike Rizzo's doing with was doing with the Flash. I'm anxious to see what Carlos Pacheco's doing with Bishop. Everything.
That Bishop's a good story. I like that. I just picked that one up. Can you earn a decent living in this industry?
Oh, yeah.
I got the evil eye over here, huh?
Yeah. I'm starting to have to put money in the bank, and I'm starting to have to talk to accountants and things.
What's your greatest accomplishment right now in what you've done?
Right now?
Yeah.
I'd have to say just being confident enough to be able to pick and choose, be able to start and pick and choose my projects. When I first started, I took everything that came my way, and now I'm starting to be...
Getting choosy on what you want to do.
Choosy. I'm making decisions as to what's going to be a good career decision and what isn't.
Was it hard being a Canadian to break into American industry of comics?
Yeah, because a lot of the stuff that the comic book companies were asking me to do, I was doing over the border, and it was costing me twice as much to do. And what I eventually did was find myself an agent.
Oh, cool.
In California.
Oh, in California.
In California.
Hey. Okay. Do you think there's any racism or sexism in the comic book industry?
Yeah, I was drawing a comic for a nameless company, and I eventually decided to leave because I was drawing a woman in a bikini. And I had a tough time explaining to my mom what it was I was doing, and I had a tough time explaining to my girlfriend, and it just was a little difficult. And I had to step back for a minute and look at it and go, this isn't what I want to do.
Okay. What do you think about the current state of the whole industry itself?
How do I answer that without stepping on toes and burning bridges?
Very carefully?
Very carefully. I think a lot of storytelling is being lost, and which is really horrible because I'm supposed to be defending artists, but a lot of books are.
You got to say it as it is.
A lot of books are being sold basically because the way they look, not because they're well written, not because there's any sort of story content.
Yeah.
It's frustrating, and it's good for me, but it's bad for the readership on whole.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much. I really appreciate it for taking time out with us.
Okay.
And
this is...
Okay, that was a great interview with Jason that Steve got. And it looks like he's going to have a lot of promise in the industry. A lot of those books won't be out for a few months still. But one last point, the Lady Death trade paperback I was talking about earlier, they're coming out with a new series. It's going to be in February 1995, just in case you didn't know when it was. It's February of 95. So that's it for this week on Comics TV.
And like we say each and every week, when you buy a comic, read it. That's what they're printed for. They're not printed to just throw on and collect. They're printed for educational use. Read them. Read them. They're worth the money. Pick them up. So like we say every week, next time you patronize your local comic shop, tell them you've seen us on COMX-TV. See ya.